Welcome back to part 2 in my series on human suffering. Today I'm going to talk about the value, the significance, and benefits of the hardships we face. In part 1, I spoke about the nature of suffering, different types of suffering, and theories of origin and influential factors involved in human suffering. In part 2 now, I'm going to talk about the significance and benefits of suffering, as well as how to transform ourselves through our suffering and most trying times. Now, the word suffering often carries a heavy and negative connotation for most people. When you hear this word or when you read the title, perhaps you felt your energy drop or a sigh of dread as the realization of pain is acknowledged. Pain, too, can be a pretty heavy word depending on the context. By definition, pain and suffering describes thoughts and sensations of discomfort to sheer agony. But is suffering really just a bad thing? Is it all negative and doom and gloom? Because the more that I've contemplated this, the more amazed I become in my discoveries. I've realized that suffering is the driving force behind all of life, and that without it, our personal and spiritual growth, not to mention our very survival, could not happen. Suffering is, in fact, the catalyst for the transformation and cultivation of the true self, and coming into union with our true nature and life purpose. At some point, I will record a video on how suffering drives society, because that is interesting, to see how every system, service, and selection is motivated by the awareness and avoidance to pain and discomfort. I mean, without the potential for pain and yearning, what would drive us? This brings us into the first of 3 points today, the significance of suffering. There are 3 points to cover here. Number 1, suffering drives life and all behaviors. Number 2, suffering guides decision-making. And number 3, suffering ensures learning and growth. Starting with the first. Suffering drives life and all behaviors. From the moment we are born, we are drawn to milk to satisfy hunger and thirst. We are drawn to our mother and father for safety, security, connection, and warmth. We are drawn to develop our faculties to function in the world, and it continues from there. Everything we do is to avoid the experience of suffering. We eat, drink, sleep, move, interact, engage, play, practice, create, and so on, so that we are not hungry, thirsty, tired, achy, stagnant, incapable, and bored. Now, not to reduce the entire human experience to the avoidance of suffering, life is so much bigger and more significant than this. But in a social, material, economic world, the attractions and distractions and the more immediate benefits and tangible rewards are bound to seduce and enthrall people. The only thing then to disrupt people from getting lost in the illusion and to bring people back to center is to introduce pain and suffering. So we are on the same page here. When I say pain or suffering, I am referring to any kind of discomfort or unwanted outcome to moderate to severe suffering. So from the stub of a toe to interpersonal conflict to major loss, I am using the term suffering to cover the whole spectrum of discomfort. Pain and suffering, or awareness to the consequences of pain and suffering, drives kids to listen and behave to avoid scolding. Adolescents to try new things so as to not be left out. Students to finish school so as to not fall behind in society. Adults to work long hours to avoid going under. Couples to resolve issues to avoid being alone. Parents to raise well their children so they do not fail in adulthood. People to serve others so life doesn't feel meaningless. And elders to let go of attachments and forgive to free themselves. Now, of course, behavior is motivated toward positive things too. Behavior is not only motivated by suffering, that is just the half of it. People are driven away from suffering, but they are also driven toward things that satisfy. However, when the satisfaction or so-called rewards do not satisfy or do not resolve a core issue, need, or truth, then the issues are still there, and the suffering just manifests at a different time and often in a worse way. The truth is, the avoidance of suffering is a full-time daily commitment that requires a complex set of behaviors, because the more that you run and hide, the more areas that issues and hardships pop up, and then the more things that you have to do to keep up with. Next, suffering guides decision-making. Our choices are based on experiences of trial and error, cause and effect, and tests and tribulations. All the wrong directions guide us to choose right the next time. But all the bad decisions can also become habitual and addictive too. And so we follow these ways despite the negative consequences or delayed pain. We are more apt to choose things that align with our focus, goals, or mission, and mostly to mitigate discomfort for ourselves or others. We choose to solve problems, make amends, and survive crisis. We make decisions based on our likes and dislikes, preferences and annoyances, and hopes and worries. We choose things to satisfy our senses, desires, attachments, and to calm our stress, anxiety, and yearnings. We choose for or against things, and we make decisions to get things done or to get there faster. It is the sting, the side effect, and the setback, or the mundane and uninspiring experiences that drive people to choose a different way or a different option. The reality of suffering acts like an internal compass, letting each of us know when there is impending risk or danger, something to resolve, let go of, or work through. Pain or discomfort anywhere in our mind, body, heart, or life is communicating something. Whether we need to understand and resolve root causes or just acknowledge the current matter or pattern. Either way, anytime our compass moves into the yellow, orange, and definitely red end of the spectrum, we know there is a warning, a challenge, or trouble ahead. And we decide the best course of action from there. Next, suffering ensures learning and growth. We learn and grow through the challenges, struggles, and hardships of life. We learn through repetition, practice, and discipline. We learn from our mistakes and failures. We develop knowledge through steadfast study and skills through problem solving and crisis management. We improve our ability to function and produce through hard work and accountability. We develop and maintain our body because it requires us to do so daily. We mature socio-emotionally through conflicts and vulnerability. We develop psycho-spiritually through loss, self-reflection, healing, cleansing, sacrifice, and devotion. Suffering is one of our greatest teachers and greatest doorways into growth and transformation. From either a spiritual, scientific, or practical point of view, suffering shows to play a critical and important role in our human experience, our personal and collective growth, and our spiritual advancement. And most people would agree that humans have the strength, ability, and potential to grow and benefit and improve the conditions of any matter as a result of having experienced pain and suffering. Whether this growth develops resilience in the face of suffering, or whether this growth promotes the transcendence in a particular area of suffering. Turning now to the second of three topics, the benefits of suffering. As the experience of suffering begins to transform, people often experience a variety of inner and outer benefits. The transformational process happens either organically, as situations run their course, or more mindfully, as we engage the process and resolve our issues. Whether consciously or unconsciously, uncomfortable, challenging, and even very difficult experiences offer an opportunity, a blessing, and a gift. And the degree of benefit that we can take from each experience depends on our ability to transform this suffering, which I will be speaking about in point 3. Sticking to the second point, though, I will now share 6 areas of benefit. And those are: suffering exposes shadows, strengthens faith, refines character, cultivates self, unites people, and inspires a mission. Number 1, suffering exposes the shadows. Any kind of mild to moderate to severe suffering exposes the negative side of self, others, world, and life. Suffering typically signifies a burden or attachment connected to something in the past, present, or future that needs to be resolved, healed, integrated, or surrendered. Number 2, suffering strengthens faith. The search for meaning becomes the strongest when we are down and out. It is when we are tripped up in our current path, when everything we believed in and relied on comes crashing down, that we develop our faith in something bigger. During hard times, our fears, doubts, and resistance is exaggerated, requiring a deeper trust in the natural or divine order of things. Number 3, suffering refines character. Our personality and character is shaped and formed through the tests, trials, and tribulations of our daily life. The degree of strength, resilience, integrity, and courage we exhibit sits in direct reflection to the experiences we've endured and integrated. Number 4, suffering cultivates self. Any hiccups, setbacks, breakdowns, or consequences that interrupt a person's life lead them to reflect on themselves in relation to their outcomes in life, to identify how to do and be better. Where have I gone wrong? Where am I falling short or overextending myself? What am I doing or not doing to have landed me here? Important lessons, improvements, and commitments are integrated. Hence, suffering can lead to self-improvement. And number 5, suffering unites people. Through sharing difficult experiences of disconnection, showing vulnerability, compassion, and empathy, working through conflicts and making amends, and identifying healthy boundaries and best ways to collaborate, people come together. Harmonization and synchronization in all social relations comes through the soothing of frictions, tuning of energies, and balancing of different frequencies. And number 6, suffering inspires a mission. Often a person's passion, purpose, and mission in life is born out of their adversity. People tend to develop interests, skills, and resources to help others through the things that they have gone through themselves. Through the transformation of suffering, one finds their unique genius and gift, followed by intentions, motivations, and enthusiasm to create a positive impact beyond oneself and for a greater purpose. Now, in the more westernized cultures, the positives and benefits of hardships are not often addressed and valued. But if we look closer at these experiences, it is pretty amazing to find just how much we gain from the most difficult and testing experiences. Moving now to the final section, transforming the self through suffering. Although the significance of struggle, hardship, and adversity shows up in our lives whether we are conscious of it or not, and whether we were intending to create benefits or not, the transformation of suffering invites our conscious participation in this process. This is not a process of manifesting and developing more expectations and attachments. This is a process of looking within, refining oneself, letting go of attachments, and harmonizing with others and the greater good. Through the ages, many great sages have shared their wisdom about the process of personal growth and spiritual ascension. And we ourselves have continued to discover and cultivate our own insights and understandings regarding the path of the true self. The transformational process is the process for integrating these insights, this wisdom, and these principles into our being and into our lives. And integration is the key word here: to apply, to implement, to release, or to embody a particular trait or thing. People everywhere are searching and seeking for the answers to their pain and trauma and symptoms, or their anxiety, depression, and addictions, and wondering, how do I move past all these things? But from what I've seen, there often isn't an external solution to the challenges and issues that we are facing. All matters, whether internally or externally, are linked to something within ourselves. For this last section, I will speak to 10 essential aspects involved in transformational work, which are all things that I will continue to unpack and discuss. Number 1, finding meaning and clarity of purpose. The transformation of suffering takes you out of your comfort zone, has you face difficult things about yourself, and is an ongoing process of inner work. Hence, you will need a strong reason why this process of change is important to you to keep you committed. Additionally, finding meaning in the suffering itself develops your faith and fortitude in this process and helps you identify the purpose of it all. Number 2, transformational work includes a guiding practice and principles. One of the most important things to know about transformational work is that it is a process. So you want to find a practice to adhere to help you stay in your process that outlines principles that resonate with your faith, values, and views. A practice with principles provides a guideline for how to face your fears and doubts, how to correct your thinking, temper your emotions and desires, meet your challenges, resistance, and defenses, improve your character and yields in life, and how to do it all with more clarity, self-reassurance, and skillfulness. Now, this could be a spiritual practice, a presence practice, a personal development practice, communication practice, a marriage and family systems process, a career development process, or whatever aligns with your true self that you trust to guide you. Number 3, transformational work includes integration tools and a strategy. Often stemming from your personal practice and principles is identifying specific tools and strategies to support changes in your mental, emotional, behavioral, and response patterns. Integration tools are like taking deep breaths, tapping lightly on your acupressure points, or writing in a journal. Integrative strategies now are like finding the bright side, tracing a thought process to its root, pinpointing an emotion, or responding versus reacting. Number 4, transformational work includes a support team and accountability, healthy human connection, shared experiences and validation, vibrant and meaningful community experiences, and a sense of belongingness are key to healing. You want to at least have one trusted confidant, or a few whom you can talk to about anything. You also want a community that sees the true you and challenges and holds you accountable to continue rising up. Number 5, transformational work includes daily anchors and self-care. Going through a personal transformation, especially after years of hardship and major adversity, can be the biggest work we undertake in our human experience. This process rests on the foundational aspects of life, such as healthy eating, staying hydrated, quality sleep, physical movement, positive environments, sunshine and nature, stimulation and learning, and creativity and fun. Number 6, transformational work includes willingness and personal agency. Transformational work is one thing that no one else can do for you. Everybody wants positive change, but not everybody is willing to make the changes within themselves to create these positive changes. Transformational work is synonymous with personal responsibility and becoming the agent or authority in your own reality. On the surface, taking control of your life might sound nice, but in reality, admitting fault, stopping judgments, forgiving grudges, embracing hardships, and taking ownership in all situations is not that easy. Number 7, transformational work includes honest and compassionate self-reflection. Building off personal agency, honest and compassionate self-reflection is the heart of transformational work. The first step in change is self-awareness. We must become aware of our fears, ignorance, false thinking, emotional attachments, faults and shortcomings, and ineffective ways of being before we can improve things. This is where it gets hard, but this is where the magic happens. Every time you are triggered, angered, outraged, knocked down, set back, stood up, sworn at, or in a tough place, you learn to look within and see how you created or allowed a situation to transpire and what you could change or do better next time. Number 8, transformational work includes perseverance and resilience. The transformation of suffering and the journey of the true self is essentially a lifelong practice that will undoubtedly require perseverance and resilience. Perseverance is your commitment and endurance to stay in your process no matter what. And resilience is your ability to withstand any kind of pain or discomfort that comes up in the process. It doesn't mean that you won't struggle and face resistance. It means you will accept and embrace it and navigate each moment just a little bit better than the last. Number 9, transformational work includes healing and cleansing. The average human mind and body, and even energy field, as I understand things, stores an enormous amount of toxicity, trauma, karma, and heavy burdens that block truth, clarity, drive, and the human heart. So one of the first steps in the transformational process, which becomes a lifestyle, is to cleanse the body of impurities and to heal the wounds underneath. This is a process of detoxification and recalibration of your mind, body, lifestyle, relationships, and home life. And number 10, transformational work includes tempering and letting go. We spend our whole life building attachments and accumulating burdens that drive our daily reactions and responses. Eventually, any little thing moves us at any little moment. We lose our balance and homeostasis, always triggered by something or yearning for something, but never at peace and contentment. This is where pain and suffering thrives. The transformational process, though, asks you to temper both your desire for things and your intolerance for other things. In summary, when we take a closer look at our life experiences, specifically the experiences that aid in our growth, we see that our most trying and testing times often produce the greatest results. Suffering is not only beneficial and valuable, it is essential. There is a purpose to suffering, and it doesn't come in our resistance or ignorance or avoidance of it, nor does it come in our obsessive pursuit to relieve it or eliminate it. It comes in our awareness and credence to it, and our ability to embrace the discomfort and engage our own transformational process through each test and challenge. And through this, we end up discovering a truer and more wholesome and fulfilled version of ourselves. As I come to a close today, to support your integration, what have you gained from the hardships that you have endured through life? And furthermore, what opportunities are on the horizon for any hardships that you might be facing now? That is it for today. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next episode.